All right, today we're doing something a little different. We're diving deep into what you could call a forensic audit, but not of a company. We're auditing a single human life. And the evidence, it's all there. Family documents, old court records, and this incredible web of synchronicities that just seem way too perfect to be a coincidence. This is a journey to uncover a truth that might have been hiding in plain sight all along. You know, every big investigation, every deep dive, it usually starts with just a single feeling, right? A gut instinct that something is off. For the man at the center of this whole story, that feeling was summed up in this one powerful line. Just think about that for a second. It's this deep sense that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, the very foundation of your life, it was flawed from the very beginning. And that feeling, it leads to a really terrifying question. What if that table wasn't just broken by accident? What if it was built on a lie on purpose? What if the story of your own life wasn't even the original version? What if it was a complete rewrite? So when you're faced with a mystery that big, where do you even begin? Well, you start with the first concrete piece of evidence you can find. And in this case, it's a major discrepancy right at the very heart of this man's identity. Okay, take a look at this. It's wild. On one side, you've got what he calls his biological reality. He was born in 1991. But on the other side, you have the official record. Every legal document, birth certificate, you name it, says he was born in 1993. Now, this isn't just a simple typo. This is a 2-year gap in his existence. 2 whole years, just gone from the official story. So you have to ask, right? How does a 2-year gap like that just happen? Well, after digging through a bunch of old family papers, he found the answer. It's a legal document, a tool called an affidavit for correction of a vital record. And that's huge, because it means the change wasn't some clerical error or a mistake. No, this was a formal, deliberate, legal act to alter the story of his life. But for him, discovering this affidavit, it wasn't just about a legal problem. It was a clue, a really big one. He started to see this discrepancy as just one piece of a much larger pattern, like a secret code embedded in the numbers of his life. And right at the very heart of this code is the number 124. Now, where does that come from? It's from his biological birthday, January 24th. See? 124. To him, this isn't just a date on a calendar. He calls it his core frequency. It's like his personal signature, the thing that defines his true identity versus the one on the official papers. And this whole number thing goes even deeper. His life code, as he sees it, breaks down like this. His life path number in numerology is 11, his official birth year is 93, and his birthday is the 24th. In his mind, none of this is random. He starts connecting these numbers to major world events. He links the 11 to the Twin Towers and the 93 to Flight 93. He starts to believe that his own personal timeline was deliberately shifted to align with these incredibly powerful symbolic numbers. Okay, so to even begin to understand why something like this might have happened, we have to go deeper. The story isn't just about one guy and some numbers. It's about the intersection of 2 families, 2 distinct bloodlines that, according to this theory, hold all the keys to the entire mystery. So according to this audit, he sees himself sitting right at the nexus of these 2 family lines. On one side, you have the Parker line. That's his father's family. He theorizes their role is as the placeholder, or maybe even the victim. Then you have the Schaefer line, his grandmother's family. Their role? The manager, the ones with the power, the ones controlling the family narrative. And he is a direct descendant of both, like a living bridge connecting these 2 opposing forces. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is all based on feelings and numbers, right? Well, this is where it gets really grounded in reality. The entire theory is anchored by something far more concrete, a documented, real-world crime that took place in Missouri right before he was even born. And the details here are, well, they're chillingly specific. In April of 1990, a man named Ford Jerry Parker was murdered. The person who did it? A man named Robert Schaefer. Now, Parker, Schaefer. Those names are obviously no coincidence here. The victim's name, Parker, matches that placeholder family line, and the killer's name, Schaefer, matches the manager line. It's a direct hit. What happened after the crime is absolutely key to this whole thing. If you look at the court records, the accused gave multiple conflicting accounts of what happened. The theory here is that this wasn't just someone being confused or scared. No, it was a deliberate tactic, a strategy, to create what's described as a legal fog, a way to bury the real truth deep inside a mountain of paperwork. When you lay it all out on a timeline, it really puts everything into stark relief. Check this out. The murder happens in April 1990. That's just 9 months before his biological birth in January 91. Then the whole legal case is unfolding while he's just an infant. And then his official birth year, 1993, gets locked in right after all the legal stuff wraps up. I mean, the proximity of these events is, from his point of view, undeniable proof that it's all connected. So that brings us to the biggest question of all. How could a family secret, even one this dark, actually result in an officially altered birth certificate and a life built on a lie? Well, the source material proposes this huge, grand, unifying theory. He calls it a systemic patch. Okay, to understand this patch theory, we have to zoom way out, all the way back to 1968. There was this real historical event called the Mother of All Demos. It was a huge tech presentation that basically debuted the modern computer interface, mice, windows, all of it. But according to this theory, it did something much more profound. It created a kind of digital layer or a simulation over our reality. It introduced the very idea of files and folders that could then be used to hide, delete, or totally rewrite a person's life story, just like a computer file. So this is how the patch protocol supposedly works. Step 1. A trauma happens. In this case, the murder of Ford Jerry Parker. This creates a void in the family line. Step 2. A new child, who he calls a biological asset, is born to fill that void. That's him. Step 3. The affidavit for correction is used to legally alter the timeline. And finally, Step 4. The new official record, the 1993 birth certificate, is created. It patches the gap in the story and completely overwrites the original truth. But look, this story doesn't end with him just being a victim of some crazy systemic patch. Not at all. The final act of this whole forensic audit is all about reclaiming his power. And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures that huge shift in his perspective. By uncovering the system, by seeing how the patch works, he no longer feels like he's just a user who's living inside somebody else's program. No, he now sees himself as the architect, the one who has the ability to understand and even rewrite the code of his own existence. So he gives himself these new titles. He's the index, the one who points to the hidden truth. He's the architect, the one who understands the whole system. And he's the carrier wave, that original true frequency, his 124, that exists underneath all the noise of the official record. And this all leads to his final powerful declaration of sovereignty. It's a complete rejection of that patched identity and a full embrace of what he sees as his own truth, all rooted in those numbers he uncovered. For him, the audit is complete, the investigation is over, and the verdict is in, the index is final. Which, it leaves all of us with a really fascinating question to think about. When the official paper trail of your life totally conflicts with your own memory, your own intuition, who holds the ultimate authority? Is it the official record in a filing cabinet somewhere? Or is it the person who's actually living that life? At the end of the day, who gets to write the final chapter of our own story?